Hey, welcome back to Old Bugbear's Barbecue. I'm David Taylor. Gonna take you through a pork shoulder cook today, show you how we box up a pork shoulder and get it ready for competition and for the judges. We're gonna take you outside to the smokers and get this thing started. We'll see you in a few minutes. Alright, so today we're back out here at home again. We decided to set up here at the house instead of going to the lake like we normally do. It's a beautiful day. We got a long cook today, so we probably are going to end up riding to the lake and spending some time out there, and we'll show you what it looks like out there today. Just have to give us time to get out there and get the video shot. So I want to give a shout out to a good guy that made this cutting board for me. He's really good at what he does. So if you're looking for any kind of custom woods or custom metals or custom stone, he's the guy. You can find him on Facebook at Darby's Own Wood and Stone. You can also click on the link that we're going to put below that'll take you to his page, and you can get in touch with him and see if he can't customize something for you and get you something you like. He's pretty good at doing that. Kind of proud of the board. He put our logo on it and did a real good job with it. So go visit his page, see if he can help you out with something. If you want something in stone, or you want something in metal, or you want something on wood, he can do it. So go check him out. And all right, so today we got about a 7-pound Boston butt. Gonna get ready to trim it up and do some practicing for a competition on this thing. They didn't have a lot of choices while I was up there picking these out, so I just got the best looking money muscle I can, and that's what we're looking for right there for competition barbecue. But we're going to expose it a little bit and trim it up and show you how we do that. I'm just going to come in here and take some of this fat off. Just kind of expose that money muscle there a little bit. Just like that. And this is going to help us out because later on I'm going to come back after we get this thing in some smoke, and I'm going to completely remove this money muscle and cook it separate from the rest of the meat. So we are going to inject this money muscle in this pork butt today. We're going to use an injection that we got that's some applesauce, some granulated sugar, some brown sugar, and some butter. And I'm going to use about 2 cups of this injection on these butts. I got 2 butts. I'm only showing you the prep on one. I'm going to do the other one the exact same way. But I want to get all of that injected real good because that's going to be the most flavorful part. And I'm going to spend a little extra time injecting that money muscle. And you'll notice when it starts getting full, you'll see some coming out. It won't hold anymore, so we're going to call that good and move on to the rest of it. And there's some other parts in here, some other muscles that's down pretty close to that bone that we're going to use, so I want to make sure we get some good injection in there too. Keep it moist through the cooking process and give it a little flavor. So I don't use a binder for my seasoning, but that injection on the outside right there is gonna kind of act as a binder. When I put it on, it'll help it adhere to the meat. So the seasoning, I'm gonna start out with some Meat Church Holy Voodoo. It's got a good salt content to it, and it's got some heat to it. And I am gonna season all sides of this thing. And I want to get a good coat on it all the way around. Make sure we get it all over the whole surface of it. Got a little split right there, that's alright, so that'll help it get some flavor in there. If you notice, that bone's already been removed out of this one. And the second layer of seasoning I'm going to use is a spice or a rub that I get from a local supermarket here. It's called Redneck Bob's, and it's one of the best pork seasonings that I think I've ever run across. It gives it a good color. It's got a good sweet content to it, and it goes well with wood smoke, and it complements the smoke really well. So and I want to make sure that I get that money real good right there, 'cause that's going to be the star of the show later on. Alright, so I got this seasoned up. I'm going to let it set for about 15-20 minutes, get it on the smoker. We'll get the other one prepped up and let them rest for just a few minutes to let that seasoning set in, and then we'll get it on the smoker. We'll be back. Alright, so I got my pork butt seasoned up, ready to go on the smoker. Today we're going to be using our Smoky Mountain Weber smoker, 22 inch. She's a good one if you're looking for a good smoker out there for just all around, all purpose. This is the thing you want. I recommend it to anybody. So we're gonna go ahead and get these butts on this smoker. We got it running about 275. Once we get the meat on there, she'll probably cool down to about 250, 260, and we're gonna try to keep her there the whole cook. Alright, we got her on. We're going to let her cook for about 3 or 4 hours, see if we can build some bark on it. Come back, we'll show you how we wrap it and get it ready to go. Alright, so we got our butts off the smoker now. They're ready to wrap. We got all the bark and color that we want on them right now, so we're going to wrap them and try to preserve some of that color. But before I do that, I'm gonna take my knife if I can find it. There it is. And I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna take off this money muscle. And I'm gonna wrap it separate. So we're gonna set it over to the side. There it is. And the way I'm gonna wrap this is I'm gonna put a few pats of butter just right on the top of this thing, just like that. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of brown sugar and run over the top. It'll melt and run over the side, so we ain't worried about the look of it. And then I'm gonna take some of this Blues Hog timeout. Let me get where I can get some grip on it. There we go. Didn't want to cooperate. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of that on the side, or on the top, I'm sorry. And then I always like to double foil this because I want to contain as much of that juice off of it as I can. I like to wrap it tight. This one's ready to go right back on the smoker. I'm going to wrap the money muscle the exact same way, and I'm going to wrap this one the exact same way. Get them back on the smoker and we'll come back. Alright, so we got our butts on the smoker. They're wrapped in foil. We're going to tenderize them for a little while and try to get the temperature up to about 200 degrees. Get everything in the house and get in the air conditioner a little bit, and we'll come back and show you how we cut it up and plate it and get ready for a competition. Alright, so we're back inside now. It's kind of warm outside, so we decided to come in the air conditioner to shoot the last of this video. I think I mentioned earlier, it's about 100 degrees out there, and the heat index, or it feels like, it's about 105 degrees, which I never understood. It feels like 105. It's 105. So I got a little pan here that I made out of foil and a paper plate, and I'm just putting some of that same sauce in it that we poured over those butts when we first wrapped them. And then I told you that I wanted to save some flavor or some of that juice in there, and this is the reason. So I want to mix that in with my sauce. It's gonna make a thin glaze to go over it. It won't be super saucy and it won't be dry. Now it's time to look at what we actually got in here. Now these have a thermometer in them that should just pop right out if they're done, just like that. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Got a good smoke flavor, good crust on the outside of it, good smoke ring. It's real nice. We're gonna get them out of the foil and come back and show you how we get ready to plate them up. Alright, so we got them unwrapped, we got them ready to go. We got my sauce. I'm gonna put it over here. Then we have the famous money muscle. I want to kind of try to keep the color and the shape of this as much as I can. We're going to take it over here and put it in our sauce. And then we got to have more than just that in there. We need to get some of this other good stuff out of here. We can go in here and kind of find some of the best meat that we can get our hands on. Make sure we have some of that bark in there as well. That thing just falls apart. And those tubes like that are real good to have in the box. Judges seem to gravitate toward those sometimes. So we want to make sure we get some of those on there and get any of that fat that's on that that's not going to be good to eat. We want to get that cleaned off. And we're just going to keep picking until we get what we're looking for. Alright, so I believe we got our pieces now that we want to place in our box. So we're going to put these over in our sauce and make sure they get covered with that flavor. So we got our pieces that we want to build our box with. We're going to build a box. We'll come back and show you what it looks like. Give us just a minute. Alright, so we got our meat boxed up. We're going to show you what that looks like. Before we do that, all this meat that we got left over at the competitions, we don't usually throw away. We usually do something else with it. And of course, if you cook pulled pork, you got to have a pulled pork sandwich. Make sure we point that out. And on my pork sandwiches, I always like pig's ass barbecue sauce. It's awesome. So one of the things you want to do when you're presenting meat is get the cleanest box you can and one of the best looking boxes you can out there, because that's the first thing the judge is going to look at is the appearance. And that's what our box looks like. And how we're going to try to present it to the judges at Watermelon Festival coming up here next week. So hopefully we'll do all right. That's going to wrap up the video for today. As always, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to our page, like our channel. Thank you. We'll see you next time.